What do you think of Barrios? He's a big, strong, young, sturdy. You have 16 years on him, Manny.
Don't worry about it.
Manny, for a lot of people, you're the greatest fighter in history, the only champion in 4 different decades. When you beat Barrios, what does that say?
Oh, it's a big thing. Big thing for me.
Tank Davis dropped by Manny Pacquiao's training camp this week and jumped into a sparring session with the legend. The unexpected move caught some people off guard, but for those really watching, it makes total sense. This isn't just a guest appearance or a friendly gesture. Tank is testing the waters. Pacquiao is fully locked in, training hard for his July 19th comeback fight against Mario Barrios, and Tank's presence at camp is a subtle hint at what might be on the horizon.
So basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so,
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense. If he beats Barrios, there's nothing wrong with him fighting Tank. But the issue is he don't deserve the Barrios.
There's a current running through this fight camp that's charged with more than just nostalgia, because it's no longer only about Mario Barrios. It's also about the future, about what's coming next, about a 46-year-old former 8-division champion trying to feel what it's like to be back under the lights and maybe, just maybe, setting the stage for one final mega fight.
This whole Barrios and Manny thing, y'all don't see what the bigger picture is? Y'all don't think we're going to get a Mayweather Part 2 coming soon? Y'all don't think so? Because you do know Barrios is the ultimate company man.
Oh.
Mayweather Part 2? Yeah, I don't see that. I'm more on the Tank. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I think that Tank gets the fight.
That's what I've been saying. I said I'm going to stand on it that if Manny Pacquiao pulls this off and gets that belt, Floyd Mayweather's coming out of it.
This time, at age 46, Manny Pacquiao is still running hills, still hitting mitts with Freddie Roach, still pushing his body through the brutal routines he once lived by when he ruled boxing's welterweight division. He knows it's different now. The legs are older, recovery takes longer, but his focus is razor sharp. I'm still excited for it, and I'm enjoying all the training, Pacquiao told Boxing Scene. I still have the passion like before, so I'm excited. I don't have to worry about that. That's not just a throwaway line. That's a man who's already thrown himself back into the grind. The difference now is, he doesn't need to do it. He simply wants to.
You got your boy Barrios fighting Pacquiao, man.
Yeah.
You know, a legend. What do you think Barrios needs to do in that fight against Pacquiao, man?
I feel like he has to keep Pacquiao on the outside. He has a height and reach advantage, so I feel like he just go out there and do what he's always done.
What's your prediction for the fight?
Mario Barrios victory.
Do you think it goes all 12 rounds?
I think he has what it takes to stop Pacquiao.
You surprised Pacquiao's coming out of retirement?
Yeah,
Pacquiao's last real fight was nearly 4 years ago. A decision loss to Yadenis Ugas in August 2021. After that, he flirted with exhibition bouts, dabbled in them without much conviction, and eventually stepped away from the ring entirely. He turned his focus to politics, making a run for a Senate seat back home in the Philippines, but came up short in the May elections. By June, he had already committed to a new challenge. He chose Mario Barrios as his next opponent, a 30-year-old WBC welterweight champion from San Antonio with 29 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and 18 knockouts. Barrios is a full-fledged welterweight in his prime, and Pacquiao knows exactly what he's up against. "I'm confident I'll win the fight," Pacquiao said, "but I'm not taking it lightly and not underestimating him. I have to push myself hard in training, just like I always have."
I would ask a simple question. And please, Manny, tell me the truth. Why? That's it. That's it. Why? Why are you coming back? And the warrior that Manny is, he's gonna be like, because
Barrios has shared the ring with other top-tier fighters, including Gervonta Tank Davis. That bout didn't go his way, but he gave Tank a real challenge before getting stopped. Since then, Barrios has bounced back and now holds a world title. He's not a tune-up, not a warm-up. He's a legitimate threat with everything to gain. Sparring partners say Barrios looks sharp, locked in, and fully understands what this opportunity means for his career. Amir Khan, who's trained alongside both men at different times, offered his candid take. It's a fantastic fight for Mario. He needs that big fight, he'll get paid well, and he's fighting a legend like Manny Pacquiao. Who would say no to that? Khan added, Mario deserves this shot because every fighter dreams of that big payday. It'll be huge for him.
I didn't think, this shit was really gonna happen, but I mean, we're here. He's doing something that not many people have done. I'm defending my title against a legend. I'm excited.
You fought the best at 140, 147. Do you have a favorite Manny Pacquiao fight? Growing up, you saw it, man, this guy's like fucking legit.
Man, there's so many, but I grew up a big market.
Khan didn't stop there. When me and Virgil Hunter were training together, I used to spar with Mario quite a bit. He's a very skilled boxer, Khan said. I don't know how much Manny has left in the tank. If they were both in their prime, no question, it'd be Manny Pacquiao all day. But this could be a tough fight for him. He's been out of the ring for a long time, and the question is, does he still have that fire in his belly? As for Barrios, Khan added, I'm sure he's coming in hungry to win, because a victory here could completely change his life. Pacquiao knows that too. He's seen this story unfold before, and he's not about to become another young fighter's breakout moment. That's why he's back with Freddie Roach. That's why the road work is punishing again. That's why the mitt work is sharp and focused. Not flashy, not for show. Pacquiao isn't out here selling nostalgia. He's getting ready for a real fight. I only trained 1 week for those exhibition bouts, he said. This time, they can expect a real Manny Pacquiao. I know the fans are excited to see me again, and I'll give it everything I've got. That's why I'm grinding in the gym like I used to, putting in all the hard work. I'm here to give a real fight. I won't let the fans down.
Manny, trust me. Let your body relax, let your body rest. He'll do fine. He's experienced. He's got, obviously, the power, because it never leaves you. The speed I'm a little worried about, but I think, look, Barrios is a live dog. He's a world champion, and he's no slouch. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I wish Manny all the best. I'm not sure who's going to win. I really haven't seen Barrios, but I think Barrios, the youth is obviously, with him in his corner.
The energy in camp was already strong, but it got a boost this week with title wins from 2 fighters Pacquiao promotes. Mexico's Wilibaldo Garcia and the Philippines' Pedro Tuduran. Those victories meant more than just business. I'm excited and happy for them, and glad I can help others reach my goal, Pacquiao said. It's a reminder that his life in boxing never really stopped. He just stepped away from the spotlight, and now he's stepping back in. If he wins, it will be his 13th welterweight title, dating back to that TKO over Miguel Cotto in 2009. That fight was nearly 16 years ago, yet here he is, still chasing belts, still filling arenas, still commanding attention. It means a lot to come back, and I ask that of the Lord, he said about reclaiming a world title at age 46. That would make him the 2nd oldest world champion in boxing history.
YouTube show.
1 second. You got Manny winning?
Yes.
You got Manny winning?
No. Against Barrios?
Yeah.
No, I think every great fighter got one great fight left in him. That had to be Thurman. And Manny, I think Manny seems to want to... Manny appears to be like how Bernard and Roy were. Like, he's really one of those great old school fighters where he's got to go out on his shield.
Yeah.
Going out on your shield used to not mean just in any...
And it doesn't stop there. The buzz about a possible fight with Gervonta Davis is already building in the background. Sean Gibbons, Pacquiao's longtime promoter and close confidant, made it clear. Once Pacquiao beats Mario Barrios, it's time to line them up. His dream matchup is Gervonta Davis. He loves that fight, Gibbons said. He tried to make it happen for a couple of years, but Gervonta kept saying he didn't want to fight him at 145. Then he goes and gets stopped by Lamont Roach. So Manny can win this belt, and it's going to be an amazing finish to his career.
What makes you think he's got a chance against the much younger, the 29-year-old Mario Barrios?
Look, I'm not saying the odds will be high that he's going to come back and pull this upset or even be ultra competitive. But again, it's sort of like Manny's already superhuman. Turning pro at like age 15 or 16 at 106 pounds and winning titles in 8 divisions. And oh, by the way, 2 fights ago for Manny in 2019, he came out of retirement.
Gervonta Davis is expected to have a rematch with Lamont Roach in August after their first fight ended with fans calling for a redo. The controversial outcome dented Tank's reputation. If he wins decisively in the rematch, and if Pacquiao gets past Barrios, then the stage is set for a generational clash between the aging legend and the current superstar. It's no longer just a fantasy, it's a series of realistic steps. Tank coming to camp to spar can easily be seen as a handshake before the contracts get signed. There are other names being mentioned too. Tank 2 Jake Paul has surfaced, with reports suggesting they're in talks for an exhibition. But Paul is just a detour. Pacquiao is the main road. It's legacy versus ambition, name versus name, and both men understand what's at stake.
That's a joke, really. There's a thought, it's an absolute joke. I love Manny Pacquiao. Love everything about him. An all-time great in terms of what he's done previous, but that doesn't entitle you to just walk back in after 6 years and get a number 4 ranking with the WBC and fight for a world title. What about all the other guys that are waiting around? It's wrong. We seen Manny Pacquiao fight an exhibition against a kickboxer in his last fight, and kickboxers can't box, right? I've seen.
When asked if he'd fight again after Barrios, Pacquiao didn't fully commit. "I don't know, one fight at a time. I need to focus on this one," he said. That's what he always says. What he said before the Cotto fight, before the De La Hoya fight, before the Thurman fight. But the people around him already know what's next. Gibbons didn't hesitate. His dream fight is Gervonta Davis. If that fight happens, it will be one of the most surprising matchups in recent boxing history. Not because it doesn't make sense, but because so few believed Pacquiao would come back and be this serious. The exhibitions dampened the excitement, and the political run made it seem like boxing was behind him. But Pacquiao isn't returning for nostalgia. He's coming back for a belt, and maybe one last big name to add to his legacy.
I think it's terrible, to be honest with you. I mean, it just sort of like sums up the way boxing's going these days. WBC, I think, is for so many years has been known as the most respected out there. The famous green belt. Boxing just seems to turn the corner. A 58-year-old Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul. 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming back, not just coming back after years of time, straight into the top 10 of the world rankings and fighting for.
Dennis Yugas knows exactly what it means to share the ring with Manny Pacquiao. He did it in 2021, and beat him fair and square. But now, as Pacquiao prepares to face Mario Barrios, Yugas sees the situation not just as a simple comeback for a boxing legend, but as a complicated, risky gamble for Barrios. Yugas, who also fought Barrios later and lost to him in 2023, has a unique perspective. He's one of the few fighters who's gone toe-to-toe with both men, and what he sees isn't an easy road for Barrios. Instead, Yugas believes Barrios is stepping into a fight that's loaded with danger, no matter the outcome.
This is a bad idea. Out of nowhere, the WBC decides they want their welterweight champion, Mario Barrios, to defend his belt against Manny Pacquiao. About 7 to 8, maybe 9, 10 years ago, I would have said, hells yeah, if we had a Manny Pacquiao championship fight. But Manny's been...
Yugas explained that Barrios is caught in a lose-lose situation. If Barrios beats Pacquiao, critics will say it was because Pacquiao is old. If he loses, the backlash could be even harsher. If he wins, people will say, Pacquiao was old. If he loses, they'll say, you lost to an old man, Yugas said. Barrios is taking a huge risk. Yugas added that when he fought Pacquiao, it wasn't some fading version of the Filipino legend slowly winding down his career. Pacquiao had just come off one of his most impressive wins, beating Keith Thurman, the then top welterweight in the division. The Pacquiao Yugas faced had momentum, confidence, and sharpness. That version was still a serious threat.
There's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to start with the fact he's coming out of retirement. It's a real shame that he sees the need. at his age, 46 years old, to come out of retirement after 4 years out of the game, after 6 years since winning a fight, this also being his second fight, professional fight, in that same span of time, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years. It's a real shame that he feels the need. He probably lost a lot of...
Now the situation is completely different. This time, Pacquiao is 46 years old, coming off a 4-year break and a loss. He looked slow and out of sync in his recent exhibition against Japanese kickboxer Rukia Ampo. Many believed that would be the last time we'd see Pacquiao in a boxing ring. Yet here he is, ready to challenge a world champion once again. This time it's tougher, Ugas admitted. Still, he knows enough about Pacquiao to stay cautious with his expectations. We'll see. It'll be a good fight, though.
After his training with Freddie Roach, he's back in the gym at the Wild Card Gym as well. Pacquiao made it very official today and Twitter. He says, in quote, "I'm back," end quote. He also wrote on social media, he's added, "Let's make history," end quote. Now, Pacquiao, we're going to talk about his training a little bit. All the critical howl from the public about him coming back. And also,
that fight against Ugas in 2021 was supposed to be Pacquiao's comeback story. Instead, it became his farewell. Ugas outboxed and outpointed him, leaving Pacquiao unable to keep up with the pace that defined his prime. The speed, angles, and flurries that overwhelmed opponents for decades were muted. It looked like the final chapter had been written. Afterward, Pacquiao shifted his focus fully to politics, running for president in the Philippines in 2022. When that campaign fell short, he quietly started considering a return to the ring. It wasn't just about the money, at least not entirely. It was about something deeper: legacy, pride, and the need to finish on his own terms.
Well, I got excited about that. Don't tarnish your legacy. You have a pretty good legacy.
It's for the WBC Welterweight Championship on July 19th in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Just don't do it.
He has enough money. I don't know why he wants to.
I know. He's 46.
That drive has kept him training and feeling things out. Last year's exhibition didn't go well, but Pacquiao has doubled down. He's now deep into full training camp, chasing a real belt against a real opponent in an official world title fight. That alone has stirred controversy. Promoter Frank Warren spoke openly about his unease. "You come in and test the waters, then jump straight into a world title fight. I don't get that. It doesn't sit right with me or with the sport. To be honest, I don't agree with it." Warren compared Pacquiao's situation to other aging fighters like Vladimir Klitschko and George Foreman, who returned long after their primes. But even with those names in the history books, Warren isn't convinced this is the right way for boxing to showcase its legends today.
Now, whether you think this is brave or very reckless, the comeback is on. Even Bob Arum, who let him go years ago, is said to be hoping he wins. But hope doesn't mean much when you're 46. For years of age and also very inactive and stepping against a strong, active champion. For better or for worse, guys, Manny Pacquiao is back on the 19th.
These guys are well past their sell-by date. That's the truth, said Paulie Malignaggi. And the facts are, it doesn't do the business or the sport any favors. Malignaggi went further. He didn't just question Pacquiao's age, he openly criticized Barrios. According to Malignaggi, the current welterweight division is so weak that a fighter like Barrios could claim a title almost by default. Mario Barrios not only fails to impress, he actually seems to be declining, and he wasn't that great to begin with. For Malignaggi, Pacquiao saw an opportunity, a weak champion in a weak division. He's moving in for one last historic shot. I think if...
The division is the weakest it's ever been. I think, it's I mean, at least in my life, it's very bad. It's really poor. And so there is an opportunity to step in. I think if the welterweight division was more competitive, I think Manny wouldn't come back, I think he's picking a moment where he sees an opportunity. Mario Barrios not only continues to not impress, he looks like he's getting worse, and he wasn't that good to begin with. It just, in a weak welterweight division, a guy like that has picked up a title. So I think
that opportunity could truly be historic. If Pacquiao beats Barrios, he'll reclaim a welterweight title at age 46, breaking his own record as the oldest welterweight champion. A mark he set in 2019 when he defeated Keith Thurman at 40. It would add another incredible chapter to a career already packed with unforgettable moments. But the risks are equally huge. Getting seriously hurt at this point isn't just career-ending. It could change his life forever. That's why his comeback has raised eyebrows throughout the boxing community.
And the news, Manny Pacquiao is coming out of retirement.
Is it to unleash Batman again on his country that he ran?
Manny Pacquiao is coming out of retirement to face Mario Barrios in Las Vegas title fight.
Well, I got excited about that. Don't tarnish your legacy. You have a pretty good legacy.
It's for the WBC Welterweight Championship on July 19th in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Still, there's at least one legend who isn't second-guessing Pacquiao's choice. Sugar Ray Leonard. Leonard, who himself returned to fight in his 40s after long breaks, understands. There's not one thing that will really make people understand why we do what we do, Leonard said. But you know what? God bless, stay healthy, and take care. Leonard's view is straightforward. Fighters fight, even when the world thinks it's time to stop. Something inside keeps pulling them back. Leonard added, I've made more comebacks than anybody. I hold the record, undisputed. In Pacquiao, Leonard sees a kindred spirit, someone not ready to let go.
Yeah, it's surprising. Obviously, I know Manny very well. You know, he's a true competitor. He's a guy that if you put something in his head, and obviously to create more history, he's a guy that's going to give everything and, you know, try his best. That's what Manny, one thing I always learned with Manny is give 110% and try your best no matter what. So, yeah, he's going to give it his all. Again, you can't beat Father Time, but Father Time is hard, and it's very hard watching him fight.
Pound for pound King Terence Crawford also weighed in, offering a more technical take than an emotional one. Crawford believes the fight is much closer than many expect. Mario Barrios is a great matchup for Manny Pacquiao, and at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny, he said. That kind of assessment highlights the uncertainty surrounding this matchup. It's not just about Pacquiao's age, it's about what he still has left in the tank, and whether Barrios is truly elite or simply a belt holder in a thin division. What do you think? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.